it comes down to this, Kevin, at the end of the day, it's about selling yourself, and, you have to be on your game. But one of the things that you said was, to embrace rejection, right? I mean, like, even the best of us, who been in this game for a long time, when we put our resume out there and we think our resume is tight, sometimes you're just not going to get through. So you have to embrace the rejection. Yeah. And Kevin mentioned, obviously sometimes your resume just needs to be revamped, right? And that's, at the end of the day, it could be the format. It could be the fact that you're not explaining, or you have not, created it to match what the job is actually looking for. And you're using something that's very basic and something that's very vanilla. And that just doesn't work in today's age at all when it comes down to resumes. And then, you got to be able to sell yourself. Guys, that's the soft skills piece of it. Have a personality. When you're in an interview, have personality. Don't just, be straight by the book, be able to have a conversation, have empathy for the person that you're speaking with. One of the things I always talk about a lot when people are going through the interview process with some of my coaching clients is to record yourself. Now that the majority of interviews are over camera and WebEx and Zoom and all this other stuff, when you're answering a lot of the questions that you're being asked, watch yourself, record yourself. You might be doing something that is very, somebody may not like, right? It could be the fact that you just, sit a certain way, or your posture is bad. Mm-hmm. Record yourself when you're going and answering questions if you're in the interview process, and see what you see. Because if there may be a little quirks that you have and something you need to correct, or you may not articulate yourself when it comes down to a certain answer because you're unprepared. So, Kevin's giving us a game on a lot of this stuff, guys, how you can actually get into the IT industry, help desk industry. I would say this, in any industry at this point in time, when it comes down to your resume and selling yourself and being qualified for it. And Kevin, what else? You got anything else for us, brother?
The other thing is, like I said, just make sure you fix your LinkedIn profile, make sure you work on your home labs. And just make sure you get out of your comfort zone. So there's like so many free resources out there that people don't take advantage of it. It's like so many things out there that's free that people don't take advantage of. Like, for example, like Discord. Discord is free. Like, download Discord, join Discord, communicate with other people. I worked with people that they're horrible at people skills, soft skills, right? And then as soon as they join Discord and they start getting, because Discord has like a voice to talk in voice and video, right?
Yep.
As soon as they got in Discord and they started talking to people, they're like a completely different person after a month of just talking and socializing with other people. And then they get a job in IT because their soft skills are strong now. So that's the other thing. And then there's a lot of things out there that are free that people don't want to take advantage of. Like that, there's like Discord. Like I said, Discord is one, and a lot of free training out there where you could get tech skills if you need tech skills. You need to go out there and just look for it. Like on my Discord, I'm always on Discord. So I'm always on Discord. So I'm always on Discord, and I talk to people, I interact with people. I do free training sometimes on the weekends. So, and I don't ask for money. I just like to help people. So those are the things you need to look at. It's like there's so many free resources out there, and people don't want to take advantage of it. That's something that I talk about. And the other thing is, obviously, like I said, the home labs, getting out of your comfort zone, because a lot of people get too comfortable and they get stagnated. They stay and they don't learn anything. They become obsolete, right? So because IT is always changing. It's a spinning wheel. It's always changing. So you have to always try to learn something new and stay up to date with technology. It's just you can't be obsolete with that. And the other thing that drives me crazy is try to learn a little bit of everything. Don't try to specialize in one thing. The reason why I say that is because if you can't find a job in something, you can find a job in something else, because you have a little bit of the other thing, right?
Exposure.
So you could actually apply to multiple different jobs instead of one job, because you have skills on different things. So that's something that I recommend everyone does, because sometimes you don't know if your job is going to be here for the next 20 years, because technology is always changing, right? So you also have to be changing too as well. So in order for that to happen, you have to learn other skills. So try to not be obsolete. Try to learn things outside of your work-life balance of 8 to 5 or whatever. Just try to learn different things, because you don't know if your job is going to be there for the next 20 years, because technology is always changing. You don't know that. So try to learn a little bit of everything just in case. Always have a plan B. Plan B is very important. So, and
I
that
love
goes back to investments as well and real estate and all that good stuff, you know. So
yep, absolutely. You're right. You're absolutely right.
yeah.
You're absolutely right, Caltech. Engineering Cannabis says this, that is true. Opportunities will come when you continue striving and improving. He actually mentioned that when you mentioned, obviously, facing rejection and so forth, and you just continue to come at it and come at it and come at it and come at it. I love the fact that, he just validated that as well, too. You're going to get the opportunities, guys. Right. And you may screw up the first interview, or you may screw up your resume. You have somebody else look for it. Leverage other people who are already in this game as well, too, to help you out. Right. And one of the things is, if you join Kevin's Discord, you can drop your resume on it to get some feedback. That's another thing that you can do. Right. I'm like, it's just one of those resources that is available to people out there. And you have, hundreds and thousands of people that are in the Discord that are willing to give feedback on your resume and so forth. So leverage that as well. Teresa Wade says, don't forget to hit that like button yet, guys. If you haven't hit that like button yet, go ahead and hit it. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, go ahead and hit it as well too. Ashton came in with the $10 super chat. I appreciate you, brother. Nothing wrong with bragging about yourself every once in a while. Helps people take notice. Great conversation, fellas. I appreciate that, Ashton. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. And you're absolutely right. You got to brag on yourself. If you know your stuff, why not talk about it? If you know your stuff, talk about it, right? I like to say this all the time. I like to keep my brag book, right? My book of accomplishments, because that's how you toot your own horn. That's how you get the attention. And that's how that's how you tell people that you are valuable in the company that you're in. Jamarley says diamonds. Christian says facts. Christian's going through that process right now with us, getting ready to get a email developer and web a full stack developer, role as well too. Guys, it's out here. We're out here to help and so forth. Stevie Johnson says, start your own lab to perfect those skills. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Kev Tech mentioned that. Keep It Taker says, yep, always invest in yourself. Man, Kev, you dropped all the game, brother. I know you was going to come on here and just, shred it. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, one thing I want to talk about that I didn't talk about today was last thing before I mentioned, because I forget, I'm gonna forget. Make sure you know what your value is. Like, know what you're worth. That's very important. Just letting you know. And Antoine, what I'm about to tell you right now, you're gonna be really shocked right now. The reason why I say that is because I worked my first job. If I go back to IT, my first job, I made $9 an hour, right? That's my first job, $9 an hour. I'm gonna let you know right now. This is how you market yourself. So $9 an hour, right? Mm-hmm. After a year, I made $22 an hour.
Holy
After a year again, I made $35 an hour. So learn how to market yourself. Know what you're worth. Don't let anyone give you a number. Give yourself a number, right? If you know you're worth this much money, then you go for it. Don't let anyone tell you you're not worth that much money. That's very important.
That's important.
Just so people are aware of that. Just know what you're worth. Know your value. Know what you're worth. Don't let anyone tell you you're worth less than that. That's what I talk about too in IT. Is make sure you get what you're worth, and make sure you get what you earn. Just make sure you get what is for you, because a lot of people like to give you a number when you're worth so much more than that. And people downplay themselves. Like you downplay yourselves because you assume you don't know anything. But know what you're worth. And don't ever let anyone tell you that you're worth $5 or $6 or $7. Give yourself the number. This is very important.
I'll tell you this, Kevin. You give yourself the number when you know your skills have a demand in the market, right? Mm-hmm. You can command that level of a salary, that level of hourly wage as well too. But you have to have the skills in order for you to be able to command that, and you have to have the confidence to be able to know that as well too. So I love that you said that. You're absolutely right, and that's why I tell people a lot of times too. Kev, if they don't know what what the market's going to pay them, put yourself out there on the market, right? If you're making $100,000, in your job today, and you want to make more money, apply to jobs and see what they're offering, right? Look at pay scale. If you want to give yourself a raise, you're responsible for giving yourself a raise, not your boss, right? Mm-hmm. Go to another company, right? Ask for a promotion. If you have your brag book, it's easy for you to ask for a promotion. We talked about that in my mastermind session over this past weekend. Moss Celio, I wanted to get to this one because he had a question here. Marcelio E says he has an A plus and an AS and still feel unqualified for the entry level jobs that have 20 different requirement must knows. What do you have to say on that one, CapTech?
No, you gotta fix your resume and do a home lab, and those are just that the job requirements is always a wish list. Apply anyway. I always tell people apply anyway. You're not gonna know everything listed in the jobs. Apply anyway, but make sure you have a good resume. It's gonna go back to your resume. If no one's calling you, it's because of your resume. Make sure you fix your resume. Make sure you do a home lab and learn the skills that they're asking for on the resume. You can learn that by just building a home lab, simply by learning it on your own, and then you could say you know how to do it because you learned it. You're not lying on the resume if you did a home lab. That's what I would do. So.
And you know what this is funny because Christian and I was just talking about this the other day too, and I had him update his resume because he has a lot of skills, but a lot of it is from him doing it in his own, right, in his own house, in his home lab, right. What's the best way, Kevin, that you have a home lab to show that you've done that on your resume? So, for instance, like for a lot of people, let's just say they worked in the financial industry as a financial analyst, but they want to get into tech. And they say, you know what, I want to do, become a business analyst, or I want to become a full stack developer. And they've gone through a boot camp and they've done some work on the side and, built websites and stuff like that. What is the best way, in your opinion, to be able to showcase those skills, although they aren't in the current job, aren't doing that in their current job because they still have a full-time job as a financial analyst, but they have, a need to want to be a full stack developer? What is the best way that you suggest for people who are doing home labs to put that on their resume? I know what my answer is, but I want to hear yours.
So for IT, like typically I put it in the resume as a project. So if you have a project, I put it on the resume as a project. For example, I'll give you a real life example. There's something, and I have a resume template, by the way, on my YouTube channel. I have a video on how to fix your resume and how to add home lab experience on your resume. And 300 people got jobs in IT using that resume. But that's besides the point. But basically, you don't put home lab. You put like server 2019 as an example. So basically, it's on the project server 2019, and you add stuff in there. You add Active Directory, Office 365, account creation, password reset. Basically, these are like technical keywords that you see on a job posting, and it's similar to what that is. And then you put that on the resume, and you start applying for jobs. And obviously, you change your resume and tailor your resume depending on the job you're applying for. So it makes you stand out, and it helps you get past the ATS system. So that's the reason why we try to make it that way.
Good. I love that. I love that answer. I basically tell people to do the exact same thing, or if they already have like a company under themselves, if they've done some freelance, then you make sure you put that in there as well too, right? And you have the work that you've done added on there as your work experience as well too. So I love that. I love that you said that. Engineering Cannabis says, Black Heights, when are we going to talk about AI and blockchain? Whenever you come onto the show, Engineering Cannabis, man, I am ready to have you on the show to talk about AI and blockchain. Whenever you're ready, brother, shoot me a message at support@blackheights.com, Engineering Cannabis, and we'll get you on. I can't wait to have you on. Matter of fact, it'll be good for a Saturday coffee talk as well, too, to kind of talk about that sort of stuff. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead and subscribe to Brother Kev Tech, IT support. Check him out. Ms. Wade over here, dropping it in here as well, too. Melinda says, in class now for A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus. Not sure of the way I want to go. How would you say somebody should find their path to, Kevin? For somebody like Melinda who, because you think about IT, a lot of the times people just, because it's so vast, there's so many things that you can do in it, right? From cybersecurity to cloud to engineering to AI and machine learning. When people who aren't in IT want to get in IT, it's like the shiny object syndrome. 1 minute they know they're committed, they want to go into cybersecurity. Next minute they come to say, Antoine, I want to do, what about cloud? What about this? What about that? What about this? I'm like, you got to focus. What is your thought process on helping people kind of navigate where they should go? Because you think about Melinda, she says A+, Network Plus, Security Plus. Those are different directions that she can go in. What do you suggest for people who want to find a direction?
Like for me, if you know you want to learn help desk, because help desk touches a little bit of everything. I will train you on that, and I'll give you my videos and stuff like that. But for someone that has no idea what they want to do, like, this is gonna sound crazy what I'm about to say, but I would try to connect with someone in that field that has that job already, and then just talk to them. So, like, for example, if someone has a job as a network admin, I would try to look for them on LinkedIn. I will connect with them, and then I will invite them for coffee. And then I will ask them questions about what's the day of the life of you, and then see if I like to do that and how they got into that. And then I get to learn what certs I need to learn and what skills I need to learn. And then after that, I could start applying for jobs for that particular role. That's what I would do. So
I love that. I love that answer. That's basically what I tell people as well too, because you think about it, like, how do you find, what you really want to do? Well, you find what you really want to do by learning from other people. You see, okay, well, man, they went down that path. I aspire to be like that person. So this is the path that I'm going to take. Right. And, when you don't have a sense of direction, a lot of the times, and you're kind of stuck between, Security Plus and Network Plus, my recommendation as a coach is for you to find someone who's doing that job, right? So that you can hear from them. They can, tell you the pros and cons about going in that direction, because, just because started off as a software engineer and now I'm in tech sales, I'm not going to know everything about Security Plus and all the, the things about AI, machine learning. I'm going to say, go to Engineer Cannabis, because he lives in that world every single day. I can say, go to that person, but you have to take the step to try to get a better understanding of what this person does on a day-to-day basis and so forth. That will help you with making the ultimate decision and giving you a pointed direction. So I love that you said that too, brother. Guys, I say this, that's all I have for today. I'm glad that you came on, brother Kev Tech.
Thanks,
I don't see any more questions here in the chat. Let me make sure we didn't miss anything. It doesn't look like we missed anything, guys. I appreciate you all for coming on and getting this game from brother Kev Tech IT Support. This is something that we had in the waiting, we were waiting to do for quite some time. We had to align on schedules, and I'm glad that we finally was able to do it today. And brother Kev Tech, I appreciate the work that you do on a day-to-day basis, man. Like, everything that I see you do, I'm inspired by. Continue to teach, to educate, and be the stand-up guy that you are. There's other things that we could have talked about too, because, one of the things that you talked about before we got on the show is, making sure that health is important, right? And that was another area that, you said you started to focus on when you got into tech as well too. But we'll touch on that in part 2, or we'll bring you on for one of the call-in shows, and you can talk about that as well too. But guys, I appreciate you guys for all being here. Kev Tech, I appreciate you too, brother.